Werewolf here. To the real men who are making sacrifices and trying to be role models for the kids, I want to give a shout out to you. Happy Father's Day. I thought I'd make a video of advice given to me by my father. A lot of the ideas, I would think that in a world where everyone tries to be an influencer and be smart, well, not everyone, but, show how smart they are, it seems like they're disregarding a lot of this quite practical advice. So, at the risk of sounding condescending to my audience, who probably already knows a lot of it or thought of it, here it goes, in no particular order. Number 1, if you find buried treasure, don't tell anyone. He would tell us the story of the California gold rush. He said if the guys who found gold had not said anything and come back quietly in the night with shovels, they would have been very rich and no one else would have known. Now, the actual gold rush and the process of mining gold was far more complex than a lot of people think, but the idea holds true for a lot of things. I see today, like online, people carelessly bragging about their Bitcoin or their finances when they're doing well or something to all these strangers on the internet. True, probably nothing of consequence will come of it, but you are leaving yourself vulnerable to any ideas they may have against you. 2, dress like the boss. Dress to impress. The more you do, the better. This doesn't just apply to job security, something that he is an advocate of, particularly in contrast of a world where quiet quitting and rage quitting is the trend. It's not a good idea, even if it feels like the right idea. This goes for dating and even something for showing up for a bank loan, like if you look professional, you're going to be taken more seriously. You're going to have an edge over your competition. Look, I see people at these financial places, like they're desperate for a loan or whatever, and they're wearing like a frumpled hoodie, and it just, it doesn't command any respect. Basically, he didn't know about the Stanley Milgram experiment that proved that in psychology until very recently, but he was telling me about it from a young age. Again, one of those things I'd think that everyone would know, but I see a lot of examples to the contrary today. 3, be prepared for anyone to let you down. Now, he was not against teamwork or collaboration, but he said always have a backup plan, a contingency plan. Like, for instance, when I was in school, he said, hey, if your friend missed school and wants to borrow the notes, do not let your friend borrow the notes. Make a Xerox copy, because there's always a chance that you'll never get what you lent back from that person. There's always a chance your partner in any project you're doing or your group, someone will not pull through, someone will drop out at the last minute. The larger the group, the greater the chance of being let down. Again, contrary to a lot of, especially the manosphere, red pill, they want some big societal change that involves all these guys watching their show to whatever, do the same thing. You can't count on that. 4, between the girl and your bro, always prioritize time for the girl, for dating. No, again, that's contrary to what a lot of the manosphere, red pill videos that I criticize are saying. They're saying, like, yeah, always stick to your bros and stuff. No, they're your long-term friends. They should be with you your entire life. That girl that agrees to a date, you have one window of opportunity to make an impression. Again, show up dressed. I see these like red pill guys saying like, well, go 50-50 on the date. Like, men shouldn't pay for everything. No. You have the opportunity for a date. It's traditional dating. Pay for the date. 5, don't make jokes about things that you could later get in trouble for, depending on how they're interpreted. I see, for instance, people right and left do this. But, maybe someone on the left posts something about the Charlie Kirk assassination. Their employer fires them, not because of their employer's political beliefs, but because they understand this could be a liability to keep this employee around. What else might they say on social media? My dad would have no sympathy for that person. Yeah, he has no sympathy for them. I see a lot of people, it almost became secondhand nature when Facebook became popular with normies to complain about everything at work. Think about this, like you're applying for a job in the future and you're employer does a basic ghetto search on your social media and they find all this baggage, they're less likely to hire you. Again, my dad was telling me about liabilities and stuff, just anything you say. Look, I'm all for free speech, and I'm willing to make sacrifices and lose for the things that really matter before little comments of little consequence that aren't likely to cause any change. You might as well be smart about what you say and don't say. Yeah, so basically my dad was warning me about all this stuff in social media before social media. One of my dad's best ideas is when you get stuck in life, you're not sure what to do next, take out a sheet of paper, write down the alphabet. For every letter of the alphabet, just write the first thing that comes to mind that you could do. It doesn't matter if any of the ideas are ideas that are right for you this time, but it's to get you to think outside the box. A few examples of, he said, like, don't brag about don't even let people know how much money you have. Just say enough. When you're, one time I was buying something from a guy that I could negotiate with, and my dad advised, when you take out, paying cash, he said, when you take out the money, slowly count every bill, like it's really important to you, like you're giving it up. Like psychologically, things like that give you a little bit of an edge in any sort of negotiation. Well, anyway, hey, thanks for watching. Check out my other videos, and until next time, life, liberty, and the pursuit of